Hey guys, Cliff Pirch here for bassresource.com. I want to give you my 5 favorite September baits. Now September is a funny time. You're coming off the summer and you're going into the fall. So different parts of the country are going to experience that transition just a little differently. But in general, September is a great time for topwater. So I wanted to share a little bit about my topwaters. One of my favorites is a real Rico. This is actually the new Rico. It's called the Loco Rico. We've taken and put the paint job on the bottom. You know, when a shad is dying, it's laying flat. Generally, it might turn a little bit and lay flat. So we wanted that eyeball underneath. So the Loco Rico is a great way to catch those shallow bass in September. I'm fishing shallow targets. That might be little points of grass. If you've got grass in your lake, holes in the grass, might be lay down trees, or might be like if you're in a desert lake, just the center of a gut, the back of a little pocket, a boulder, a shade in a boulder. So it's a target fishing bait. I'm going to throw it out, wherever it lands. I'm going to pause it for just a second. I'm going to give it probably 2 pops, chug, chug, and I want it to spray a little bit, and then I'm going to kill it. I want it to sit there still. So I'm going to throw it out, snap twice, and kill it. And a lot of times that's when you get that bite. And you can get some great bites doing this in September. 3 of the US Opens that I've won were in that time frame of the year. And every one of them had just a little bit different things going on seasonally. But a topwater always played a role in those tournaments. So that's one of my favorites for September. Again, that's the new Loco Rico. It's big like the real Rico, and you can cast it a long way. It's a great way to catch them. Now, if I want to cover water in September, a lot of times a buzzbait is just one of the best ways to do it. This is the Big Bite Baits buzzbait. I've got the little cane toad on here, and that toad actually allows me to cast the bait a lot further. For years we used a skirted buzzbait, and I still love a skirted buzzbait if I'm not trying to bomb this thing 100 miles. But with the toad, I can cast a little bit further. You can also skip if you're around docks or you're underhang, limbs like that. You can skip the bait. But a buzzbait allows me to cover a lot of water, and it's really good at getting big bites. It's really good at getting the best fish in the bay. I mean, it's gonna get that bite. Sometimes you've got to stick with it a long time to really get a lot of bites. To get the ones that you need, but it will get the big ones. And so a buzzbait is another great September tool. I'm looking to fish it on shallow flats, shallow points, transition areas, maybe rock to gravel, or a channel swing bank if you're on a lake that has real heavy channel swings where it goes from chunk rock into the gravel pocket. Some of those transitions are good. I'm generally fishing it shallow. I don't like it that much out over deep open water. I'd rather pick a different type of topwater for that. So this is what I want to use on shallow cover, shallow flats, shallow points, things like that. So buzzbait's a great way. It covers a lot of water and gets the right bites. That's another one for September that I always like to keep in my arsenal. Matter of fact, this past September I fished the Rico tournament in Arizona. You can throw a buzzbait of their model or the Rico, and we actually got the win. It's just all topwater fishing, so it kind of is no-brainer. You take out all the other little things that you'd think about doing, because you can do a lot of things in the fall. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to have, which this is almost no matter what season it is, I like to have a drop shot handy and available. Now, this is the Cliffhanger. We've got the new 6.5-inch Cliffhanger. It's just a good drop shot worm, but this is the little longer one. A lot of folks like the 6-inch. We've always had the 4.5 or to 5-inch, and this is a little longer one because a lot of folks just like a little bit bigger, a little longer drop shot worm. Now this one, again, every season and every month I really have got a drop shot laying on my front deck. But in September, whenever I've got a fish that might miss that buzzbait, or you get a fish that blows up on your Rico, and you can watch them go back to the bottom on your sonar, I'm going to fire this drop shot out as a follow-up. It's a great way to just drop down there. Fish is going back down, you know, thinks he's wounded something and this thing falls right back into that strike zone, it's a great way to get that follow-up bite. Now, if you've got a September that has a few more deep fish, which there's a lot of times, you know, the fall is, as you get into the fall, there's a wide range of varieties of depth ranges that hold fish. Those shad get all over the water column, you know, so you might find patterns in backs, flats, guts, and you might also find them out on reefs and shoals and breaks and points. And the drop shot is always a good tool to have anytime you're trying to fish a target on the bottom or fish that are, you know, near the bottom. So, and it's a good follow-up bait. Like I said, when you get that blow up on your topwater, it's a great way to catch those fish that missed your bait. And I've got it on a Phoenix medium action. This is 7/6 medium action. It's the Ultra MBX. It's a long rod. I want a long rod because I want to be able to cast it way over there where I got that topwater bite. I like a lot of, you know, the length gives me that extra casting distance. And I can also move a lot of line, set the hook. So it's the most comfortable rod for me. Been using that one for years. It's the Phoenix 7/6 medium Ultra MBX. So that's my drop shot rod. One of my favorite rods of all time. And another technique, whether it's shallow or deep, a crankbait really works that time of year. Typically, I like a little bit of chop on the water. If you get a little breeze, if you get a little mud line, or if you're fishing some deeper water where you find a school, you know, off the bank, a deep crankbait is good. I won a boat one time in September on Roosevelt, deep cranking. But I've also won tournaments where I was fishing shallow with a topwater. So, you know, you want to keep in mind that there's a lot of opportunities as you get to that time of year to really look in different depth zones and ranges to catch fish. But a crankbait's a really good way to cover that water. Now, if I've got a good buzzbait deal going on or Rico deal in these shallow flats and maybe around some shallow grass, a good way to come back through it is with a little Squarebill crankbait. That's what I've got on here. And it covers water fast, you wind it fast, but a shallow diving crankbait is another way to target them really good in the fall, especially if they've seen your buzzbait a lot, they've seen your Rico a lot. This is another way to go back through there and get some of those fish that you missed or wouldn't bite the topwater. So that's another great technique to get them. It's great for covering lots of water. Like I said, you can just go down the bank for miles and miles and put it in front of quite a few fish, and it gets a good bite as well. So you really are likely to weigh some big fish, and whether you're fishing a deep crank or a shallow crank, it's just really a good way to target fish in the fall, and especially September. You know, I'm thinking of those shallow grass flats a lot of times, shallow rocks, shallow wood, little stumps, and so you know, glancing that little Squarebill crankbait off of there, that's a good way to catch them. It's a really good way to catch them. And this one, I've got it on the X13 from Phoenix. It's a crank rod. It's designed just for crankbaits. I really love throwing crankbaits on it. If you're fishing close contact, close cover, you know, you might go with a little shorter rod. I really like the 7/6 X13 because I can cast it a long ways, and I'm so used to using the 7/6 that I'm real good at just making good close casts as well. So I like that length. You might go a little shorter if you really are trying to pinpoint cast and you're used to a little shorter rod. But that's the X13 from Phoenix, special for cranking. And last but not least, if we're really around a bunch of vegetation, frogging is great in the fall, especially September. So I've got a little popping frog on here. I like to rig it, you know, I'm going to throw it on straight braid. I want to make sure that I get a strong hook set, and it responds really well on braid, and I want that, you know, generally it floats. A lot of times you're fishing it around grass. It's a great way to fish heavy cover if you've got flooded brush. It's a great way to skip inside of docks or floats or, you know, overhanging limbs. Frog is a great way to catch them. You know, generally I try to go a black one, and if they're not biting that one, I might go to a shad color or more of a light, you know, white chartreuse, you know, the shad shades. But those would be my two favorite colors. Frog gets a big bite, guys. That's another thing. And you know, all these topwaters are great at getting big bites, especially in September. A frog is another one. You put that in the heart of a tree. You put that in you know, in the middle of that grass mat or through the, you know, the holes in the grass, this will get a big bite. And I'm using it on heavy gear. You know, frogging, I'm gonna use it on heavy gear. Those are 2 big hooks. They might have a bunch of slop in their mouth. You know, you've got heavy cover you're bringing it out of. So again, I was talking about braided line. I'm gonna be throwing this one. This is the Phoenix 7.7 heavy action rod. It's the MBX. And I'm gonna be going with a heavy action. When I'm frogging, I'm using a heavy action. This one's got a little bit of a tip where I can do a lot of skipping and really good cast angles. So it's not too stiff for that, but it's also strong enough to fish heavy mats. So the frog is gonna be my other one, guys. That's a great way to get a bait where, you know, your Rico can't get there because you're tangling up the hooks. Too much grass, too many leaves, too many trees, brush, whatever. You can't get your buzzbait through it. You know, it keeps getting tangled up. The frog, guys, the frog is the way to go. So again, that's another great September tool. And as I said before, September is a real transitional time. So don't narrow yourself to these things. Keep an open mind because, you know, you've got deep schools of fish, you've got shallow fish. There's lots of opportunities to catch them in September. And their metabolism's high. The water's warm and they're feeding a lot. They're eating a lot of food. So generally they give you good evidence of what to do, and fishing can be really fun. A lot of folks start hunting about that time, and I like to do both, but I sure don't miss out on some good September topwater trips. So those are some of my options. Again, don't overlook, you know, searching for other things. Anytime I'm fishing a US Open that time of year, it looks like a mess on the front deck of my boat. It's junk fishing season. So I'm gonna have more than 5 rods. I'm gonna have probably 13, 10 rods out. So you wanna keep an open mind, but that is always something that's going on in that time of year. So those would be my top 5 favorites, and I hope you can use those to win your local tournaments and just have great days fishing this fall.